Hi everyone. So we're going to talk about floor plans and how to create a floor plan. And please forgive me if any of this is a little out of focus or hard to hear, etc. It's my first time doing this, so bear with me. So this book is called Interior Design Visual Presentation. I think this is a really good book if you're intending to move forward with the design industry. It's actually a really good introduction to interior design process and some drawings. So this is not the fluffy fabrics and such type of book, but it's more about getting your ideas on paper and how to get your concepts across. So what we're going to talk about today is orthographic drawings, basically two-dimensional drawings on paper, what we need to use to get them on paper, understanding the different views, and projecting drawings for interior environments. So if you haven't gotten this book already, maybe I'll scan some of the more important elements, because I think that if you're not familiar with the design concepts of two-dimensional drawings for conceptual design, it might be more difficult to grasp the concepts right away. Don't mind my rosé. Okay, so there is a materials list on the course content, materials, tools, and equipment. This is essentially old school equipment. If you can't see, I'll zoom in real quick. This stuff is how you were to use all these tools to get hand drawings done. Hand drawing, I think, is extremely beneficial to understand, but it's not 100% practiced anymore. Ironically, I have a sketch over here of what might be my office, so you can see literally how I just kind of scribble on a piece of paper some layouts and whatever. So this is still used, but if you're going to spend any time as a non-design professional learning how to draft, which is the technical term for putting drawings on paper, I might be better suited to focus more on computer drawings rather than hand drawings. However, it is still really crucial for you to understand. So let's briefly go over this. This large thing is called a T-square. It's essentially a straight edge, so you can create straight lines, and it has, like a ruler does, it has measurements on one end, probably inches and centimeters. Let's see. These all on the side here are your drawing utensils, so pens, pencils, markers, and what is number 18? Electric eraser. Okay, I did have one of those in college, but it didn't work very well, and it actually made the drawings quite messy because it just smudged the lead around quite a bit. Number 19, you'll hear, that's called an eraser shield, which I did enjoy using. It's basically a little piece of metal, like a credit card size, that has different line cutouts. So you could cover a portion of your line and erase over top of it, and it would protect the rest of your drawing. You'll see erasers here, tape. This is a scale, which we're gonna go over. I have my scale here. Trace paper, which I have my own trace paper here. And what's number 8? Applique film. Nobody uses that anymore. Number 9, vellum. Vellum is just a thicker paper that has a little bit of texture to it, so it collects the graphite better. And then number 4, this square back here, are little templates. So sometimes you'll see drawings that have a toilet or a sink or a door swing, and you'll say, wow, those people draw those so accurately. They're using a template. It's just, basically a stencil. And then this is a French curve that is helpful when creating curves. It has all different sizes and shapes. And a triangle here that you can adjust with this little dial here. So you twist the triangle piece, and then it opens up to be a wider triangle or a narrower triangle. 29 was a brush. I use that quite a bit as well in school for hand drafting, just to sweep away your eraser marks. The only other thing I would mention is that the tape that we use are called drafting dots or drafting tape, and it's a non-sticky tape. So you press it down on your paper onto your work surface, and you can peel it off your paper without creating any tears. So if I'm going to ask you guys to actually purchase anything, I would like you to get a couple of pencils or a couple of pens that have different thicknesses to them. So the tips will have different thicknesses. This pen I have here, what does it say? Number 5. And it's a relatively thick tip or nub or nib, I think they're called. It's not going to focus on this, but it creates a pretty thick line, as you can see. And the reason being, we need to use different thicknesses to show what different lines represent in a drawing. So I would say please purchase a scale, which is a 3-sided ruler that has different increments, some trace paper, maybe a sketchbook so we can do some of these drawing exercises, and a set of pens or pencils that have the different thicknesses. All right, so here's the nitty gritty. Gotta move my wine, hold on. Okay. So what we're gonna be focusing on today is a floor plan. So a floor plan is essentially cutting the building. We'll just use a house. This looks like a dog house. Cutting the house, or a perimeter around the house, basically halfway up. Typically, the floor plans are cut 4 feet from the floor, and then we look down. So we are standing on this hard black line, and then we're looking down at the doggy dish. Okay, so basically, this doggy dish should be represented in this floor plan. So here is our thick black line. We're looking at this is a double line showing the thickness of the exterior structure. So if you were to cut through here, you're going to see it's not paper thin, this wall, it has a thickness. So I'm just going to shade in here where that wall thickness is. And what I did just now, that's called poche, P-O-C-H-E with an accent. It's just a nice term to discuss the hatch pattern, to shade in the cut wall. We purposely poche in our cut walls to represent that it is cut through and there's item above. If it's not cut through, say that the back side of this doggy house has an extension basically, but it only goes up to that half height. This basically continues here like one solid wall. You could show the wall thickness continues, but you wouldn't color it in because that's as tall as it goes. So maybe there's a little second area behind the house, but it's not very high up. That's probably a little more complicated than we'll get into, but I just think it's important to know. So we are focusing on floor plans right now. This is a floor plan. And you'll see these in real estate listings, fire exit plans at an elevator, and so on. So these are not just strictly for interior design, they are meant for representing what a structure or building looks like for a look down view. So pretend we're laying on the roof and we cut through the house at the black line. That's what we're looking at. This is the flooring in the center here. And so on. The other views we do have on the same sheet, we'll just briefly get into. This is called a section, where we're cutting vertically. So we've now cut the face of the building off, and we're looking at what it would look like in a side view. Again, we're going to poche in where it's cut to represent that it has been cut. And now you're just seeing the doghouse as a side view from the front. Let's see. This top view is a roof plan. So now we're standing above the roof looking down, and you can even see the seam here. So that's where the roof pitch is. You can see that seam here, but nothing is being cut through. That's a roof plan. And then this diagram here is an elevation. So an elevation is just a side view with no cutting. So we're looking at the face of this doghouse. You can even see the opening. You even still see the dog dish, and you see the texture on the exterior walls, and you still see the roof line. And this top view is just the whole three-dimensional view. So I'll just read, let's focus on floor plans today, and I'm just gonna read briefly from the text here. A floor plan is a view as though looking straight down at a room or building after a horizontal cut has been made through the structure. As stated previously, a floor plan can be used to be called a horizontal building section. I don't think anybody ever says that. Because the drawing is created by cutting through the building horizontally at roughly 4 to 5 feet above floor level and removing the top half. With the building cut open and viewed from above, important information such as walls, doors, and window locations can be drawn to scale. Additional design elements such as fixtures, furniture, can be drawn in appropriate locations to scale in a floor plan. Ooh, that's a good one there. To scale. You can see that in the video still. To scale. I hope you guys took the time to read or listen to those videos I posted last week about some vocabulary terms. So to scale is what we're going to work hand in hand with our floor plan today about understanding how to create a large structure on a small piece of paper. All right, in the United States, most floor plans are drawn at 1/8 inch scale or 1/4 inch scale. Although this varies according to project conditions, larger floor plans are used for presentation of complex or highly detailed spaces. Okay, so for what we work with day to day, like a house, for the most part, at least in my office, we're sticking with 1/4 inch scale because it fits nicely on a sheet that we can print out and provide to a client. Okay, so here we are, we're looking at a floor plan. Do you see? Lower level floor plan has a nice title here, and it dictates what our scale is. So you guys are probably still saying, what the hell is scale? So we have a challenge to move or show a large piece of property on a little piece of paper that we can hold in our hands, or as wide as this trace paper is. So scale just means that you select a scale on you select which scale you're going to start with. Let's start with 1/4 inch because that's fun for us. 1/4 inch. So you're going to find the corner of your scale that says 1/4 inch. You will notice at the other end it's an 1/8 inch, so it's just half as big. A little bit of math there. And sorry, opening this pen. This literally means that every 1/4 of an inch on this scale is equal to 1 foot. Any notation on this scale. This is a 3. 3 inches is equal to 1 foot. This is 3/16 is equal to 1 foot. And this is literally just 12 inches. So this is just a regular ruler on this end. But you'll go through and you'll notice, all right, each corner has a different number. Just let's focus on 1/4 inch. I lost it, here it is. So when you measure a space, it's gonna, let's just use the whole numbers of 20 feet. You're gonna start with your 1/4 inch scale here, and you're gonna count to 20. So you see 0 starts here. Disregard the 92 because that's for the other end of the scale. They overlap. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, all the way up to 20. So we now have this little tiny bit of space, which is about 4.5, 5 inches, that we can put on a piece of paper now that would represent 20 feet. And builders are well versed in reading this scale, architects, engineers, and so on. So it's not uncommon. This is a very basic understanding of drawings for the construction industry. 20 feet is just listed as this long instead of being 5 times the width of my arms, which you can't see. So what we're looking at here on our floor plan is an 1/8 inch scale. So it doesn't really matter, it all is the same. So I could start measuring out things on my 1/8 inch side of the scale here. And again, disregard these 46 numbers because that's for our other end. So you have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 feet. 10 feet stops right there. So I could start measuring out this floor plan if it's actually to scale. Because it's in a textbook, we don't know. But I'm going to measure, what is standard? Yeah, it's looking pretty spot on. So I could start measuring this drawing based on my scale and just the fact that it states what scale it's drawn in. So if I wanted to tell you guys how big this room is, 0 all the way to 24, 25. So I'm gonna zoom way in on this. This is a little more technical than, oh, that's as far as I can go. So I don't know if you guys can really see this. I have it lined right up to the 0 at the beginning of this wall. Again, this is a cut wall, so I'm gonna color this in or poche it. Or I'm assuming it's a cut wall. Okay. So I believe this cut wall begins with my 0 part there, but I don't know how easily you can see this. It's not exactly lining up with my 25 mark. So what I'm going to do is scooch this down so it does line up with my 25 inch or 25 feet mark. And I'm going to get really close here. Don't look at my eyes. And tell you guys that it's up to the middle part of the inches at the top. So where these little teeny tiny lines are, those are inch increments. So I'll show you on the 1/4 inch because it's easier. Focus. So you'll see 0 to nothing, those are just inches. So 3, 6, 9, 12. Those are what those little dashes mean, tick marks mean. So when I measured out, 25 started back here, focus. 25 started back here, and I had 6 inches left over here. So this whole length is 25'6". Now I'm gonna do the width. Almost. So 15, about 15.3, that's what we're looking at. Okay, so that's how we can measure with our scale on a floor plan. But what I would like you guys to do as an exercise for this week is draw your bedroom. Wherever you're sleeping, if it's a living room, you're sleeping on someone's couch, cool, do that. If it's a real bedroom, if it's your parents' house, whatever. Just show me your bedroom. And what I'm gonna give you is a couple of things to note. And I'm gonna draw this room for you guys. I'm not gonna show you the room because it's super messy, but you'll follow along. I'm going to show you on my trace. And what you're going to see here is I have 3 different pens. I have a thin pen, I have a medium pen, and I have a thick pen. This one's more of a marker, but it'll have to do. Hold on. So, little trick of the trade. You want to tear a nice piece of straight trace like this. Pull out as much as you want. Your scale has this nice triangular shape to it. Tuck that right in. Let it overhang the top and the bottom a little bit. This is a 12-inch roll of trace, FYI. I didn't specify how big, I don't know, but I like 12-inch because it's pretty easy to hang on to. Okay, so you tuck your trace in, you tuck your scale into your trace roll, everything's nice and tight, and then you just kind of tear it off at a little angle. I did a little boo-boo at the bottom, but creates a nice clean line. Okay, and this is what you need your drafting dots for. So you'll notice I flipped my trace over, otherwise it'll just continue to roll up. So that's no fun, and it'll do that, no fun for me. That's why all drawings in architectural world get rolled outward. So you never have to worry about them rolling up on you. So if I were in school right now, I'm gonna pull this over a little bit. If I were in school, I would tap down my little dots, which I don't have with me, but you get the drift. Tuck it in here. All right, we have a nice clean piece of paper. And I'm gonna start with my fat pen. This room is 17 foot 10 by 11 foot 8. I'm gonna zoom way in now. Okay. All right, maybe I'll do my tick marks with a skinny first. All right, what did I say? 17 foot 10, 1/4 inch scale. So I'm gonna kind of try and center it on the piece of paper. 17 only goes to about here. So that's little dude. I'll just leave it over here. Can you guys see that? No, I'll move it over. Okay. 1710. So I went 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. And then I'm gonna measure out 10 inches on my end tick marks. So I'm just gonna go right past the 9, right there, okay? Okay. 17. And then 11 foot 8. Okay, so start here with my little mark. This is 11, and I need 8. Almost 9. There. And I'll do the same thing over here. 11. Okay, you guys see that? So I just made 4 little ticks. And if I were using a T-square, which maybe I'll go get it. Yeah, I'll stay, hang tight. Go and get my T-square. False alarm, no T-square, somewhere else. My boyfriend probably stole it. So the concept of the T-square, zooming back out, is that it has a nice T at the end, right? So you can push it up against the end of some flat surface, like your desktop or this happens to be a dresser, but the T creates the 90 degrees there. I don't know. Can't see my hand, huh? There we go. So the T creates a stop at the end here, and then you have a nice straight line. So let's just pretend I did that. I've done this once or twice, so don't judge me if it's not super straight. Okay, so pretend I did that, right? Now I'm gonna rotate this way with my T-square and push it up against this side. Oh, this is super crooked. Again, with our T-square up against the right angle here. Just eyeballing this. If I had a T-square, it'd be better. All right, so that's my room for the most part, the square, right? But that's only the outside wall, like the way outside world can see. That's what this one line represents, the exterior material for like the street view. But I need to see the interior wall as well. So that's where that wall thickness comes into place and where we cut down. So typically interior walls are about 5 inches. So let's do that. And I'm guessing that if this is something you guys are not familiar with, it's going to be a little weird. So please reach out. Maybe we could do an in-person Zoom together. Maybe on Monday. I apologize for not getting this stuff out earlier, you guys. This has not been my week, but we're making up for it with a lot of content. Again, these are not super accurate. I'm just a little bit eyeballing it. Okay, so there's our wall thickness. So we have outside wall, inside wall. Okay. What's next? I bet if you're in a bedroom, by code, it needs to have windows. So let's place some windows. I'm eyeballing mine. Don't look, they're up there. Blah. They're probably, let's measure. All right, so 71-inch wide window, dead center. And it is 2 windows. Again, I really don't want to show you guys my room. So you see how there's like, that is called it's basically a casing, a window casing with a division between the 2 pieces of glass. So we're gonna have to show that. So for 71 inches, measure it out. Basically 6 feet. 11, 5.5 is the middle. So that's our middle line, that little dot. Can you guys see the dot a little bit? 5.5 there. And then 3 and 3, right? Essentially. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So our overall window is going from here to here on that wall. This is the 71 inches. And I'm just going to give you a little bit of a dimension there. Okay. 71 inches. So we've got that nice chunk in the middle of solid wall, not glass. And then we have a little piece of trim on either side, which I'm going to represent with just a double line. This I'm going to color in because it is solid wall. This is casing, so I'm going to leave it in this double line fashion here. And then what I'm going to do with my thin line is just show, I probably should have used my straight edge, but I didn't. That is showing just a simple pane of glass in the middle. So I'm gonna show you on back to the textbook really super quick. If I don't knock anything over. And you will see that that's how this is shown, with a little single line here and that double line showing the trim between the windows. All right, back to fun. Okay. Oh, I didn't draw a door width. Okie dokie. So my door looks about 20 or 32 inches. And I didn't draw the closet. I didn't do this very well, you guys. So our closet is 2 feet. So here I'm on my 1/4 inch scale again. I'm not sure you can see that in the dark. 1/4 inch scale, 0, 1, 2. I'm gonna show a bump out of wall here. You'll see I've switched pens because I'm no longer on an exterior wall. So this real thick line or wall out here, I'm just going to do a nice heavy diagonal poche. You could do a solid color poche if you prefer. I like the diagonal, feels artistic. To show that this is a real thick exterior cut wall and there's stuff above it from which we are not showing because we are looking down onto the floor plan. But we'll color in the rest in a few. But I just did a 2 foot thick line there because that is where my closet is. How much wall? We got a little sliver of wall on the left and the right. That corner wraps. Okay, so I left this nice gap here because the rest of that is basically the door swing. And there's a couple of ways to show door swings. You show the door panel and then the direction in which it swings, okay? And this would be the wall that it's swinging out of. Can you guys see that? Yeah. So this we would consider a 90-degree door swing. Then you can show a 45, which I like quite nicely. Show the thickness of the door. And again, the wall in which it's swinging in. This is a 45-degree door swing. 45s are good for less important doors, like a closet, something you're not going through quite often, and a 90-degree is nice to show for things like room, entrance, and so on. But like closets and pantries and little teeny doors look a little nicer as a 45. So the 45 would just be half of the 90-degree. And you can even see, I didn't make this up, the textbook shows this little linen closet at a 45 and these as 90 degrees. And that is really strictly just to show if it's going to hit anything